Yay! I love it when everything works. Hello, everyone, on Self Care Sunday. My name is Tina Stinson, and I'm on here a little bit early, but I always like to start a little bit early just in case technology fails. And I got my coffee. So grab your coffee in the next few seconds, or tea, or whatever it is you have. Uh-oh. Is it still working? Yes. Okay. All right. I'm just going to set up my phone in my other group. So I usually go live in Self Care Sunday, but I also go live in the Empowered Woman. I like to cover the same topics. Okay. And we are live in both. Hello, everyone. My name is Tina Stinson, and I am live here in Self Care Sunday and in the Empowered Woman. And today we are going to be talking about raising your vibe and why you should do this. And I have my very scribbly notes on my Post-its that I wrote out. So excuse me if I'm checking my little tiny notes that I made here. All right, let me just wait a few seconds to see what time it is. Okay, a few more seconds. I'm going to sip my coffee. After I'm done with these videos, I always put them on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't done so yet, go over to Tina Stinson Wellness, which is my YouTube channel, and subscribe and hit the little bell button if you want to get notified when I pop a new video on there. It's fairly new, so there's probably only about 5 to 10 videos on there, and it's all going to be about self-care, and then sometimes there will be videos on cooking, plant-based cooking, which is part of my deep level self-care that I promote. All right, I'm going to get started. I'm so impatient. I know it's a few minutes early. Okay. Now, I wish there was a way that I could see the comments without using, I think I would have to use, I think StreamYard it is. I'm not really sure. To be able to do that. So I apologize if you comment and I don't answer right away. I always check afterwards and try to respond. If you have a question, definitely post it in the comments, or you can message me directly if it's something that might be private to you. I will respond as quickly as possible. Be sure to tag me in it if you, actually you don't need to tag me. I always check the comments after these videos. Or you could also go to the YouTube. I'll send an email out with the link to the YouTube channel, and you could subscribe and ask questions there also. All right, I killed a few minutes with that, with my small talk. Okay, so I'm going to get started. So today on Self-Care Sunday is a beautiful day. It is, I don't know how many degrees, 50 or 60 degrees, even up here on the mountain. And I don't care if it's pouring. I'm going for a hike after this. That's why I got my hiking clothes on, my Farm Sanctuary top. I don't know if any of you have been to Farm Sanctuary down towards Ithaca, I think it is. What a cool place to visit, especially if you're already plant-based or vegan. But a warning, if you go there and you're not, you might turn into one. You just might. Okay, raising your vibe. So I'm going to get started. This is one of my most favorite subjects, and it's something very simple that everybody can do to make themselves feel better. And to, when you focus on, whatever you focus on, expand. So doing this is just easy work that gets you into a better vibration, a better mood. So when you raise your vibe, you feel lighter, you feel happier, you feel more joyful. And one of the things I want to emphasize is that when you're doing this, I'm going to knock my water over. I talk a lot with my hands, so I might be like karate chopping shit everywhere. I want to emphasize that I'm not telling you to stuff your feelings down and ignore when something isn't feeling good, because we all have those ups and downs in lives, and there's nothing, it is just not possible to be completely happy all the time authentically. Okay, so when something happens to you that is negative, I encourage you to feel the feelings and get into it. I believe I did a talk once, it might have been on one of these groups, where I talked about my pity party that I allow myself to have. So the key is to allow yourself to feel the feelings and work through them, but don't stay there too long. Get out of it when you can, okay? So that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm not talking about masking your feelings and just trying to pretend that everything is fine, because that definitely doesn't work. Okay, but this is talking about raising yourself up and keeping yourself in a higher vibration. So the best example I can make with you guys without getting into scientific reasons is, so we all vibrate. Everything vibrates. Everything, my candle, my coffee cup, my coffee, water, people, whatever, and everybody is vibrating, okay? So, and we all carry different vibration levels, okay? And moods, different emotions have different vibration levels. So like an emotion of joy is at like one of the highest vibration levels, and then like a very low one would be like jealousy or hate. I think jealousy is like really low. I can't remember. I wish I had my little emotional scale here. So there's an emotional scale that Abraham Hicks has, and I can't remember what it's called, but I use it a lot when I talk to people about raising their vibration. And the scale is great because it kind of teaches you that you can't go from like the lowest vibration up to the highest vibration in like seconds. You got to kind of work your way through it. Okay, so the best experiment that explains this the best way I can imagine is, I had to write this guy's name down because I think he's Japanese, Masaru Emoto. Okay, a lot of us have seen this experiment. It's a water experiment. I will post it on this page, both these pages, when I'm done, because it's very interesting. And sometimes some people have done experiments with plants like this, where you share your emotions with the water or the plant and the effects that those emotions have on it. And the water experiment is very interesting because what happens when you express love to the water and then you freeze it, it makes these beautiful, beautiful, almost pieces of art. And then when you do the opposite, it changes the whole structure of the water. So if you can imagine this, if you can even just imagine that our bodies are 70% water, if we expose ourselves to negative things continuously, what is that going to do to our bodies? All you have to do is look at this water experiment, or look at a plant experiment. I'm sure if you Googled that, because there's been so many of those done, that you can find this, and this is what it does to you on the inside. So that alone is enough, for me at least, to learn how to raise my vibration and do the absolute best that I can to focus on that. And I'm going to give you a few ways today that you can do that, like super simple, easy ways. And I'm going to start off with food. And you guys know food is one of my favorite subjects. I love food. I love making food. I love eating food. I probably eat too much food, but I eat very healthy most of the time. And I would say 80 to 90% of the time I eat very healthy. And one of the things that you can do to raise your vibration with food is by using food that has a high vibration, which is living, healthy food, like vegetables. Like vegetables, for instance, have a high vibration. So adding more vegetables and fruits into your diet can automatically raise your vibration. And this automatically creates a healthier environment in your body. So like, how cool is that? Is that you can, like, not only you're raising the vibration of your body, but you're also, your body is just automatically healthier because of that. And I just think that it's so powerful. Like, can we just like really like tune into how powerful that is? Like, people look to like heal themselves with medicine and pharmaceuticals. And I'm not saying all pharmaceuticals are bad. I'm not saying that pharmaceuticals aren't needed. What I'm saying is, look to the reason that you need the pharmaceuticals in the first place and try to better yourself to stop that reason in the first place. Like, how can you prevent that? Okay, so that is the first way. I'm going to turn to my notes now because I had to get into that. Hey, Monica, what's up? So that was the first one. Eat well. Okay, and just to add another thing to that, just the simple things that we all know about. So we're eating more vegetables, more fruits. This is going to automatically raise our vibration because those things have a higher vibration. And it's the same thing with water. The more we hydrate, the healthier we are, the more everything flows easier. Okay, you all know that. We all know that. But I had to add it in. Okay. The next thing is, now these are all ways to raise your vibration. quickly, okay? It's creating a beautiful living environment, okay? Now, there's different ways to do this, okay? Everybody's different, so what's beautiful to one person might not be beautiful to the next person. But one thing that is a common denominator for everyone is something is clean and decluttered. And decluttering is something that I talk about very often. I talk about decluttering the mind, the space, and the processes. So right now I'm really talking more about space, okay? Decluttering space allows things to flow more smoothly. It allows new things to come in because you're getting rid of the old, you're making space for the new, you're making space for things. Everything works smoother when things are decluttered. We all know that. We all know how good it feels when we declutter things. So creating that home environment that makes you feel good automatically raises your vibration. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to spend money or you have to buy something expensive. It could be as easy as, like I said, decluttering, or just adding little touches like your favorite colors. For some reason, for me, adding things that are my favorite colors automatically make me happy. So my favorite color is like teal, blue, or like aqua color. That's my favorite color. It's everywhere in my apartment. And another thing that also makes me feel good and that improves the space, that's not a very expensive thing to do, is adding plants, okay? Plants, for me, automatically make everything feel more luxurious and beautiful and calm and serene, and it just improves the whole environment. The next thing is, okay, this is an easy one, is gratitude. Now, gratitude is the most instantaneous way that you can raise your vibration. It's hard to be in a state of anything else except gratitude when you're in a state of gratitude. It's hard to be angry, it's hard to be mad, it's hard to be sad. And so working on having a daily gratitude practice it does wonders for you. Excuse me for one moment. Cheers. Okay. Now, some people have trouble with this. So if you're in like a place where gratitude is just really hard, I've had people say to me, there's nothing to be grateful for. I have nothing to be grateful for. There's a way to get started, okay? So the way you start is you're picking very simple, small things that everybody has. Like, I'm grateful for the sunrise. The sun comes up every day, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that every day I have a new day to experience. Sorry, I just touched the mic. I don't know if that sounded horrific. I am grateful for the sunshine when it's sunny. I'm grateful that I woke up this morning. I am grateful for another day. I am grateful for my cup of coffee in the morning. And I love my coffee time in the morning. So starting for little things. I even heard a coach that I love. Her name is Catherine Zankina. I think that's how you say her last name. Manifestation Babe is her name, her business. But anyway, I heard her even talk about when she was first starting and she was having trouble saying things like, I'm grateful for my eyelashes, I'm grateful for my fingernails, I'm grateful for my teeth, and I'm grateful for my hair, whatever. Like everything. Every morning she would just have like a rant of everything she's grateful for, even if it sounded absolutely ridiculous. And that's how you can get into a state of gratitude, which automatically ups your vibration, right? Big time. So that's the next thing. So even if you can only come up with 3 things when you first start every morning, starting a gratitude practice daily, you could write it down, 3 things every day, write 3 things. Look in the mirror, say what you're grateful for in the mirror. Okay, next thing, positive affirmations. Now this one can be a little confusing because saying a positive affirmation when you're in a really shitty mood isn't going to do anything, because affirmations are about, there's 3 ways I teach affirmations. That's to see it, say it, feel it. And the most important thing is to feel it. And so, and there's also different ways to word them. So a lot of people say you should start an affirmation with I am, okay? So like, for instance, let's just talk about abundance. So you could say, I am abundant, or I am healthy. But deep down inside, you might not feel healthy. So this might not feel true to you. And if it doesn't feel true to you, talking about the feelings again, like I was talking about earlier, if it doesn't feel true to you, then it's not really going to really raise your vibration. There has to be some truth to it. So another way that you could use affirmations is you can say, this is also from Catherine Zankina, Obviously, I love her. You could say, I am the type of person who is healthy. I'm the type of person who is learning how to become healthy. So that's something that you can buy. You could buy into because I am the type of person who is learning how to become healthy. You could also say, what if I was the type of person who is learning to become healthy? What if I was the type of person who is healthy? Okay. And then feel into that. What if I was? What would that feel like? What would that feel like? So you're not like saying something that you don't believe is true. You're saying something that's possible. And just changing those words from I am to I am the type of person, or what if I was the type of person, are two different ways you could do affirmations that will help raise your vibe and be more believable to yourself. So just remember, with affirmations, it's see it. So writing it down, saying it out loud, and then feeling it. Okay, so the feeling part's important. So if you need to change the wording in order for you to truly feel it, then that's what you should do. So changing it from I am to I am the type of person, and what if I was the type of person? Okay. Another thing is controlling what you consume. So this automatically raises your vibe, because when you expose yourself to things that make you feel awful, it automatically brings your vibration down. So I'm talking about reading, TV, music, people, and social media. Everything. I'm sure there's more, okay? But controlling that. And it's not about sticking your head in the sand and ignoring everything that's going on in the world. It's about controlling and protecting your energy, okay? And exposing yourself. So like the things that are going on in the Ukraine right now. So instead of continuously watching people suffer, maybe focus on all the people that are trying to create charities and help these people in the Ukraine, and focus more on that. That's what I'm talking about. So you're not ignoring the situation. You're not putting your head in the sand. All you're doing is changing your focus on something that's more helpful, and that's not going to make you spiral into a lower vibration and feel like shit. Okay. TV, that's easy and simple. So if I'm feeling already like in a low vibration mood, I'm not going to watch Euphoria. Okay. And whoever doesn't know what Euphoria is, it's insanely intense and it's very stressful. I don't advise anyone who's trying to practice self-care to watch Euphoria. But anyway, I have to be in a certain type of mood to watch that because it's very intense. But I still watch it because it's very entertaining. So I will, like, if I'm in a mood where I feel very low vibration, I watch things like Abraham Hicks videos on YouTube, or a very inspiring documentary. I love watching documentaries. Or sometimes I just watch my favorite coach or mentor. I binge on their free stuff. It's like, I'm making this recording. Some of my favorite people that I follow make recordings, and I watch those to make me feel better. As far as people, I know we can't all avoid our family because that's the thing that people say to me the most, but you can set boundaries so that your family can't invade on your energy level. Okay, you can walk away at a certain point. You can choose how much to expose yourself to that person. But the key is really setting boundaries with the people who are energy vampires. And if you can't set a boundary to protect yourself, then to probably limit your contact with that person. Same thing with social media. If someone's continuously posting negative stuff and you really just don't want to see that, you could just block them. You don't have to unfriend them, especially if they're a friend of yours. You could just block it. You don't want to see it. You don't really want to focus on that. You can unfriend people that you just don't connect with, or you really aren't friends with. I mean, how many people are we friends with on social media that we aren't really friends with? Or have nothing in common with? You're like, how did I get connected with that person? Sometimes I wonder. Unfollowing people who continuously are focusing on the negative rather than focusing on the positive or trying to resolve the problem. That's very, very liberating when you do that. It's extremely, so choosing, how the algorithm is going to serve you. Do not like things that are shitty. Because if you like it and you watch it all the way through, more of that's gonna come to you. So remember, whatever you focus on expands. And when you're looking at social media, times a million. That's how social media works. That's how any other algorithm works. Whatever you focus on expands. Okay, so focus on what you want to see. Okay, next, meditation. Okay. Now I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, everybody knows meditation is good for you. Helps you connect with yourself and kind of bring yourself back into the moment, into the now. Like we don't really focusing on the past. It just drags us back into the past and makes us relive things that we don't want to relive in some cases. Focusing on the future too much can cause a lot of anxiety. All we really have is now. Trying to do that is really hard. There's actually a Netflix documentary, I can't remember what it's called, but it's about a woman who has some type of cancer. I think it started out as breast cancer and then it moved into her liver. And the whole message of this documentary is her telling people to live in the now. Is very profound, very sad though. Not good to watch if you're trying to up your vibe, but a good point to learn, okay? Living in the now. And meditation really helps us do that. It helps us slow it down. And so there's different ways to do this. You could try to sit still and focus on your breath and in a quiet place. I find that this is the hardest for me. I'm like a type A personality. I always feel like I need to be doing. And so doing this is the hardest for me. Another way is to use guided meditations. And for those of you who know me, I create guided meditations for Aura, A-U-R-A, the Aura app. And I absolutely love it. And that's my way. I love using guided meditations or guided hypnosis, which is kind of just like a deeper level of meditation. I love using these. They're very beneficial to me. They keep me on point. You find somebody that you like and that you can connect with. And you know what? I will put a free link on here to get 30 days for free on Aura. I'll put it on this post. So if you want to see what it's all about and test it out. And you could use it for free before you sign up. I think you can only do like the 3-minute meditations, which is a great way to get started. Just 3 minutes. Everybody could do 3 minutes, right? Another form of meditation, I think, for me is when I get myself into a state of flow. And this happens for me like when I'm running. It happens to me when I'm in the garden. And I really feel like this is a form of meditations. I get like downloads when I'm doing this. This is when I get most of my creative ideas. Sometimes a lot of people feel that way in the shower, in the bath. So think about times when something pops into your head, when you feel like you got a download or a really like just like this idea, or you're just like in a moment where you're in a state of flow and time doesn't exist. You're kind of just like going through the motions, kind of like when you're driving home and you're really tired and you're like, how the hell did I get home? Like, what happened? Kind of like that, but different. So like that weird like state of flow when you're just so happy that you're not noticing what's going on, what time passing. Okay, so next is, giving back, acts of kindness and donating. So this definitely raises your vibe, and there's different ways to do this. Like if you can't give money, you can give your time, and it could be as something as little as just smiling at somebody that's having a shitty day. Like you're going to get your coffee. I'm going to take another sip. Love my coffee. You're going to get your coffee in the morning. You could tell the girl behind the counter or the guy behind the counter is having a super shitty day. They might even be bitchy with you. Just giving them a smile or giving them an extra tip if you can or whatever. It just helps their day, and then it raises your vibe at the same time. So also just being kind to another person when they need kindness, even if they don't deserve it completely. These are just different ways to give back without giving money. Giving your time, spending time with someone who just needs you to hold space for them. You know, doesn't really need you to do anything. They just need you to talk to you and for you to listen and not offer any comments or solutions. A lot of times, people feel like when someone talks to them about something that they're waiting for you to solve their problems. But a lot of times what people really need is just to be listened to. They just need to be heard. And by you holding that space for them and not judging them or giving your opinion or trying to solve the problem for them is so much more valuable sometimes than doing that. And it's very hard for people, especially men, because men are automatically triggered to solve problems and take care of people too. Find solutions. So it could be really hard to just hold space and listen. Okay, but sometimes that is just a form of giving love and care for somebody. That's all. So giving back doesn't necessarily mean monetary wise. It could be time and just kindness. I think this is the last one. Oh, there's two more. Okay, so second to last one is moving your body. This is really great if you have like yucky, stagnant energy. So say you had like, this works really good for me. So like you're having a bad day in the morning at work, something bad has happened and it just throws you off, or you have an argument with somebody, it could be a family member, whatever, you're thrown off, but it's unresolved, okay, and you can't get through it in the moment. To expend that energy by moving the body is very helpful to a lot of people, even if it's just jumping around and shaking and expending the energy, working out, going for a run, going for a walk, screaming into a pillow. But just imagine that if you have all this energy going around in your body and all of a sudden you have this like super exaggerated flow of negative energy come into you, you know that feeling where you're like, you know, keeping it in there is going to make you, it's going to lower your vibration. It's going to make you feel worse. By expending it and keeping the energy moving and getting it out, dealing with it and getting it out of your body, automatically raises your vibration, automatically makes you feel better. So if you have the freedom to do this, so like as an example, I've worked from home for a long time. Before I did coaching, I also did real estate, and I was at home a lot. And in real estate, basically your job is to solve problems and put out fires. That's really a lot of it, most of it. And so you're dealing with a lot of issues and problems. And sometimes I would have a really bad day, and it was very helpful for me to like just separate myself from the work, even if it was just for an hour or 2 hours, and go for a run. And I would go for long runs sometimes 10-mile runs, depending on how crappy my day was going. But doing this expended all the energy. It just like took it all out of me. And then I could go back to it with different eyes and a different vibration and be able to sometimes solve it. Sometimes the solution would come up while I was running. So that's how beautiful movement is. And you could just do this, like put your favorite song on, stop what you're doing, put your favorite song on and listen to it and dance around. I know that this can be really hard for people who are not working from home or who do not have the freedom to get up and dance around their office. Okay, I understand this, but what that might look like for a person like that is coming home from work and doing a workout, or coming home from work and dancing in the living room with their significant other or their kids. Okay, even if you don't freaking feel like it, put on your favorite song and do it. Okay, so movement, last thing. Okay, pay attention to the small things of beauty and abundance in that world that are completely natural. So things like the sunrise, the flowers, the grass, the trees. Notice how like abundant these things are. Like I live in the country right now, where I am right now, and there's so much grass and so many trees and so many flowers and so much of everything, water. It's so abundant. It's all around me. It's really apparent to me. It might not be as apparent if you're in a city or something like that, and you might have to look harder. But like birds, the moon at night, just the little things that when you're super busy and you're running around and you're, as I say, you're on the treadmill, you have the blinders on and you're going through the motions, the things that you don't always notice. Those little moments with your kids, the moments with your significant other or a friend or a parent, cherish those moments. Those are the ones that really matter. I recently was working with a coach, and we did this exercise at the beginning of the year where we looked at everything we did in the past year, everything. And one of the ways she said to do this was to look at your phone. because we do so much on our phone. Look at our social media. Look at all the pictures we took. Go back to January. Go through every month. Look at all the pictures. And it's amazing how many things that you forget. And then she said, pay attention to all those little moments, all those special moments that you recorded. Okay. And then also look at the problems and the issues that came up. And then think about, you know, did you forgive them? Did you get through them? Did you find the solution? And so she made us create like this vision board, but not for the future, not really a vision board, but like a remembrance of our following year, and to acknowledge everything beautiful that we had, not just accomplishments with work, but just like everything that we enjoyed, every little moment. And there's like all these little moments that you forgot about. Like I remember my son came and visited me, and he planted a tree. We planted a cherry tree together. And the cherry tree actually ended up dying, which is really sad. But it was just such a nice couple of days that I got to spend with him, and we did so many fun things, and that was one of them. So, and we took lots of pictures of that, and I forgot about it. And so this exercise is a beautiful way to remember how grateful we can be for our lives, and how lucky we are, and how much freedom and happiness that we actually have in our lives already, even if it might not seem that way because we're focusing on the wrong things. So that was the last thing. I don't even know how many that was, but that was how many, all the different ways that you can raise your vibration almost instantaneously, really. So I hope that that was helpful to you guys, and I hope you have some fun with it. If anything, just pick one thing and start with that one thing. And if I had to pick one thing that was very effective and powerful, it would be definitely gratitude. That's the one thing that really works the quickest. But see what aligns with you, see what feels good to you, and definitely give it a shot. I will see you next week for Self-Care Sunday. I am traveling next week, but I should be settled by Sunday, so I think I will be here. I'm going to definitely push it. I might push the time a little later. It just depends. But I'm going down to be in some warmer weather. I'm going to raise my vibration with some warmer weather. So I will see you next Sunday for Self-Care Sunday. Thanks and bye.